An Albuquerque woman survived a violent attack at the hands of a stranger. Dramatic police video shows officers chasing down the suspect. And as News 13's Chris McKee reports, even the man's family says he's a danger.
This window's broken.
APD lapel camera video shows officers knew something was wrong Wednesday night at this apartment near Central and University.
Police department, come to the door!
Cries for help, then a man bolting from the front door.
Hey! Stop!
That's police taking down Max Bond, a man now in MDC charged with aggravated assault, kidnapping, and burglary for breaking in and attacking a woman with a hammer in her own home.
Yes, very scary.
Bond's sister reacting to the story when News 13 told her what happened for the first time.
It was very shocking. I wouldn't imagine, like I said, I can't believe this.
Police say the victim fought off Bond and called 911, but he eventually overtook her and made her strip while he got naked.
Please help me!
That's when police interrupted just in the nick of time and chased him down.
He beat me. Okay, what's your name, dude? I don't know.
Bond's sister told News 13 today that Bond is mentally ill.
And I think maybe this is why he did what he did. I'm not saying it's an excuse.
Bond's sister says mental illness and Bond's criminal history have kept them distant.
I've been away from my brother for a long time. He kind of scared me,
Court records show Bond went to prison for 4 years in 2006 after pleading no contest to rape charges in Las Cruces. He was also just sentenced to probation for a harassment charge in Las Vegas. Bond's sister says that's where he's been living in a halfway house.
He should have been there, and he ran away.
Chris McKee, KRQE News 13.
The victim is recovering with a broken collarbone and some cuts to her head. We asked APD if they believe Bond is connected to any other Albuquerque cases. So far, they say no. This morning, a Bernalillo County Sheriff's deputy is recovering after a repeat drunk driver smashed into him. The deputy was at the scene of this deadly motorcycle crash near the Route 66 casino Friday night. As he was about to leave the scene, a truck came at him.
A vehicle that was traveling westbound, a silver Toyota pickup, struck his marked unit with all of its emergency equipment engaged.
Deputies say the driver was 48-year-old Robert Martinez. He already has 3 drunk driving convictions, making this charge a felony. The deputy is out of the hospital. A home was badly damaged in southeast Albuquerque after a 7-year-old playing with a lighter in his room started a fire. As the fire grew, an older girl at the home at the time grabbed the boy and ran to a neighbor's house. The neighbor used a fire extinguisher to try and put the fire out before AFD arrived. The 7-year-old has minor burns and the girl suffered smoke inhalation. AFD says it's a reminder to talk to your kids about playing with lighters and matches. We're working to find out more about a suspicious package that was left at a church in Las Cruces. A groundskeeper at First Presbyterian Church noticed it and called police. Now, the church and several businesses were evacuated. The Doña Ana County Sheriff's Bomb Squad dismantled it. Las Cruces police would not say if it was an explosive. About 2 weeks ago, exploding packages caused damage at 2 different churches there. The feds are offering a $20,000 reward for information leading to an arrest in those 2 cases. A state district judge has upheld the firing of a physician's assistant who is a registered medical marijuana patient after she tested positive for weed. Former Presbyterian worker Donna Smith filed a lawsuit claiming she was fired unfairly. Smith suffers from PTSD. Now, the judge agreed with the company, citing federal law that orders employees to be drug-free. A zoning board will once again review plans for a medical marijuana farm in Roswell. According to the Roswell Daily Record, the board is meeting next Tuesday to consider an appeal that would prevent Pecos Valley Pharmaceuticals from turning a dairy farm into a medical marijuana farm. The decision to grant the company a license will be up to the State Department of Health. Right now, there are 23 licensed grow facilities in New Mexico. The state is going to grant 12 more. Well, it's a for sale sign that's the talk of a Dallas neighborhood. Lisa Price has 4 dogs and they bark a lot. Her neighbor is so upset about the dogs, they put up surveillance cameras that point directly into Price's yard. They even complained about them so much to the city that Price got a $120 citation. So Price has put her house up for sale. But it's the for sale sign that's creating a lot of buzz. And we can't tell you what the sign says, but it is a vulgar message that describes the neighbor.
We don't know what else to do. We obviously have had to be pushed pretty far to go to this extreme. And so we just thought maybe if we did that, that he would catch on and leave us alone.
The vulgar language on the sign is not against the city's ordinance and is allowed on their property. Well, new this morning, police are investigating a suspicious death in southeast Albuquerque. Officers have the roads leading to the Portals apartments near Gibson and San Mateo blocked off. They're urging people to avoid the area, and we're still trying to get more information. We'll continue to follow this story and bring you updates on air and online. The governor and other state leaders have announced plans to monitor the Animas River. It's been more than a week since the EPA accidentally spilled 3 million gallons of contaminated water into the river. A team has been created to monitor the long-term impact.
Through working together and sharing ideas and information based on different agencies' areas of expertise, we'll be able to better ensure that New Mexicans are protected from any potential long-term effects.
Oh, the team will study the impact of the spill on wildlife and agriculture. The governor says she's still considering legal action against the EPA. Domestic well users in Farmington have been given the green light to use their personal wells again. That decision was made after local, state, and EPA officials evaluated the most recent test results. State officials say their next goal is to reopen irrigation ditches, but first they need to make sure any contaminants in those ditches are washed back into the river. Meanwhile, the spill in the Animas has caused a fallout in Washington. Members of Congress are now planning a series of hearings regarding the Gold King mine spill. The EPA's critics are using the disaster to undercut the Obama administration's rollout of major regulations aimed at cutting greenhouse gas emissions at the nation's power plants. The agency was already a frequent target for Republicans and pro-industry groups. The Animas disaster came just 2 days after the Obama administration unveiled the Clean Power Plan. We have continuing coverage on the Animas River spill and past stories and background information all on our KRQE app. A Taos police sergeant is facing charges after she was accused of roughing up a suspect in a noise complaint.
You're lucky I don't care thing in your head right now.
We first showed you this lapel video last month when officers arrived at the home of Frank Olania. Police asked Olania to turn down the music in his truck. Olania, who has a history of arrests, addictions, and mental issues, complies but is heard threatening the officers. An officer charges Olania and arrests him. In the video, you can see Sergeant Janice Davis kneeing and kicking Olania after he's handcuffed to the point he lost control of his bowels. Olania continued to curse at police. Davis is now facing misdemeanor assault and battery charges. Olania is not facing charges.
Get on the ground now!
And KRQE has obtained the lapel video that led to the arrest of an Albuquerque woman who stole a car, hit an officer, and crashed into a patrol unit. It happened in June when police say Brianna Keck led police on a high-speed chase. It started with a report of a stolen car in a Walgreens parking lot in northeast Albuquerque. When the officer asked for her ID, Keck gunned the car, crashing into the patrol car behind her. That officer grabbed her arm, but Keck put the car in drive, shot over the curb, hitting the officer, and sped off. Keck led police to University Boulevard, where she jumped out and was arrested.
What's going on? Just relax and we'll explain everything to you.
Keck faces several charges, including aggravated battery. An Albuquerque family is heartbroken after someone stole items from their 14-year-old son's grave. Adam Casals' family visits him regularly at Mount Calvary Cemetery. Adam had epilepsy and suffered seizures. He was 14 years old when he died of brain cancer last year. His family spends hours decorating his gravesite at the cemetery every week. But this week they found everything was gone. The family can't believe anyone would steal from a grave.
I love coming here, and I just hate how all of his stuff got stolen because we put hard-earned time into this, and it's just rude.
As a public place, there really just is no way to monitor or try to curb that type of thing.
Adam's family says they'd like the office to add surveillance cameras since other families say this has happened to them. Federal investigators in Albuquerque are looking for a woman who tried to rob the Bank of America on Lomas near San Mateo Friday afternoon. You see her giving the teller a note demanding money, but she left without any. The FBI says she is between 45 and 55 years old and about 5'1" to 5'5". She wore a tan fishing hat, jeans, white shoes, and black gloves. If you have any information, call the FBI. An Albuquerque teacher has changed the tune of learning in the classroom. She designed an English course using a popular music app. And as News 13's Marissa Lucero reports, it's now being used around the world.
You good? Yeah. Okay.
Usually English class is all pen and paper, essay after essay.
So from here down.
Welcome to Miss Hart's 11th grade English class at Cibola High, where ordinary for these students isn't so ordinary at all. Take, for example, writing an essay. These kids do it using GarageBand.
I just opened it up one afternoon instead of grading papers and spent a good 3 to 4 hours playing with it and understanding it, and I got an idea.
An idea that's now available for teachers around the world through iTunes U.
Instead of being one of those teachers that said no way, I was able to figure it out. Doing okay? Mm-hmm. Awesome.
Basically, Hart took something she's pretty familiar with, an essay, then something she had no idea how to use, and combined the two.
I had them write out their feelings, pick a couple themes that we were talking about, write about it in To Kill a Mockingbird, write about it in their life, put it together, and then they recorded themselves.
To perfect the course that was eventually picked up by Apple, Hart had her students help test it out.
It's surprising and shocking. Like, I never thought it would be this big, and I never thought I would be on iTunes, but I am.
It's a lot more fun because then you look forward to what you're going to do each day, and it's never going to be the same.
Students using music to get their words out, now a trending app.
That they are being heard and not just seen, which they're always told you should be seen and not heard. Well, I want it the other way.
Marissa Lucero, KRQE News 13.
The course is called High School Literacy with GarageBand. You can download it free on iTunes U.